Yes.
Good afternoon, guys.
Good afternoon, Kong.
Welcome to Ilocos.
Thank you.
Kailangan ba to? Siguro yan. Para clear.
Hindi nata.
Ayaw nyo ba sa loob?
Madami.
Me too, I need to fit. Okay. Naimbag na Malen to everyone. Thank you all for coming. Yeah, let's start.
Yes. Una po, papakilala ko muna po yung grupo.
Sure.
We are that, we call it Team Tugon. So, yung Team Tugon po is meaning is Team United for Government on Nation Building. So, we have two different kind of groups. So, we have Tugon Critics. So, yung critics po, they're the ones who handle po yung mga issues. Sila po yung nag-explain sa mga regarding sa project ng government, especially the projects of our president. And i-explain nila sa mga tao po ano ba yung kagandahan po ng mga projects natin. Then, sila rin po yung na-explain yung mga regarding sa mga negative. Sila yung nag-ano sa mga kontra. Alam po na natin po yun. Then, we have also our state vloggers na sila po yung kasama during the campaign. Nakaraban po. Simula nung campaign po ni President until now. Andito po sila, sumusuporta po sila. So, these are all the supporters po until this.
Thank you everyone. Salamat. Thank you for all your help. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being a part of all of this. So, who has the first question?
Ako po.
Hello ma'am, ano
Hello po,
pangalan?
Mami Peng po. Mami Peng po.
Ikaw yung... Di ba pumunta ka na rito?
Ano, hindi pa ko.
Hindi pa? Parang may in-interview ka na staff ko, wala ba?
Masyado na akong bias.
Kahapon na
Kahapon? Kahapon po.
Diba?
Nag-interview po kami kahapon.
Oo, tapos sa educational assistant?
Yes. Kahapon.
Yes.
Wala nang may
Saka
marata.
yung isa po akong Marcos Rodriguez. Hindi, pinigilig ako. Ay, nakabahan ako.
Masyadong halata.
Okay sa sa damit.
Pag naman din, nakain ako. Teka lang. So, ayan.
How can I help you ma'am?
Wala naman po. Tanong ko lang po, ano pa po yung mga proyekto ni Apo Lakay na maaari niyong ibalik na makakatulong po sa pag-unlad ng ating...
Which Apo Lakay? Dalawa na yung Apo Lakay natin.
Ay, oo nga. Si Apo Lakay namin. Charot. Si FTM po.
Ano po?
Senior. Yung lolo niyo po.
Senior. Well, I assume, I'm sure you know, si Sen Aimee, binabalik na niya yung Nutriban program sa mga iba't ibang munisipyo, mga iba't ibang syudad. At nakikita naman natin na medyo positibo ang effect ng programa na yan. I guess the other big one is yung Kadiwa. Naririnig niyo ba ako?
Yes.
I guess the other program is the Kadiwa na tamang-tama talaga na ilinatag ni Apo Pangulo dahil alam naman natin medyo tumataas ang presyo ng bilihin dahil sa mga supply chain problems sa buong mundo. So sa ngayon ay nakikita naman natin yung nakakatulong talaga yung Kadiwa. I think the target is to hopefully have it in more provinces in the coming month.
Thank you po.
And then of course the infrastructure push that yung Build Better More na ginagawa natin ngayon. We see that it has a lasting effect. Alam naman natin napakaganda ang build ni former President Duterte. So hope lang namin, ay umaasa lang kami na itutuloy po namin yung infrastructure program. Hindi lang itutuloy, kundi gagawin mas maganda pa.
Pwede na po konting follow-up lang.
Yeah, sure.
Kasi nung panahon po nila, First Lady si Nelda Marcos.
Yes.
Yung mga hospital po kasi libre po siya.
Yes.
So, meron po kayang possibility na maibalik po ulit yung mga
You're going to have to ask the DOH. Sa totoo lang ma'am, I understand na dahil anak ako ng Pangulo, it's very easy for me to be associated with the administration, but kailangan yung intindihin din na I'm a congressman of Ilocos Norte. So sa ngayon nakatutok ako sa mga proyekto ng First District. I think it would be better to ask the DOH for a question like that.
Thank you po.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Palirista.
Magandang hapon po ko. Tanong ko
Hello po,
lang
sir.
po, bilang anak po, paano niyo po tinatanggap ang mga batikos kay Papa mo, lalong-lalo na kay First Lady po? Salamat po.
Alam mo sir, sa totoo, sanay na kami dyan. So, it's nothing new. Alam mo naman, even when my dad wasn't president, ang dami ng nag-iintriga, ang dami ng mga critics. And you know, criticism is double-sided. Dapat naman makinig ka sa mga sinasabi ng tao dahil that's how you improve as a person, that's how you improve as a public servant. But, yan yung tinatawag nating constructive criticism. Alam naman natin karamihan sa mga karamihan sa mga chismis na pinag-uusapan sa mga marites dyan ay hindi naman totoo. Gumagawa lang ng gulo. So I think it's just important to keep on going. Para naman sa ating Pangulo, para sa ating First Lady, trabaho lang.
Salamat po. Thank you po.
Good afternoon, Kong Sandro. I'm Coco Locoy from TLWG Care.
Good afternoon.
Yes. So I am very, very interested about the Maharlika Investment Fund
Okay.
because this is one of the long-term solution to the
Correct.
issues that we have right
Yes.
now. And I really want it to be passed. But I also have my criticisms or things that I want to, that is amenable for me.
Okay.
And I want to ask if one, are you amenable of changing the Maharlika word in the Maharlika Investment Fund if it means the Maharlika Investment Fund or the investment fund will be passed?
Well, it's not up to me. Nasa Senado na siya. Naipasa na namin sa Kongreso. I think people need to focus less about the name and more about the function.
Yes.
You know, what's in a name? So to me, wala naman, I don't have any attachments to it. So to answer your question, yes. I think, like you said, ang nangyari talaga sa Maharlika is, alam naman natin, 6 lang taon lang ang termino ng Pangulo. So it's a way to generate more revenue in order to finance the big ticket projects that this government has planned. Yung mga malalaki na tulay, ang mga malalaki na dam. Hopefully, ang problema ng mataas ng presyo ng kuryente, maayos din. And ang sinasabi ng tao, ang iniikot ng mga kritiko na kung makikita mo sa mga iba't ibang sovereign wealth fund ay malaki daw ng ang nawala ng revenue, malaki daw ang nawalang profit in the coming years. What I have to say to that is the last 3 years nasa pandemya tayo. So it's of course expected naman na lahat ng mga negosyo or I guess investment funds na naka-invest during the pandemic ay masama ang returns because of the performance of the global economy. Wala na tayo dyan. We are now in a phase of recovery and we need to ride that wave. And I think the Maharlika Investment Fund is a good vehicle and is a conduit to usher those investments and make sure that the profits that are realized from such an institution are used for nation building. And I really think that's the essence of it. So yeah, that's my 2 cents.
So another follow-up question is that alam natin na ang tina-target nila is yung seed money, yung source ng seed money.
Yes.
First was were the SSS and GSIS, and now that it was transferred na ang BSP ang isa sa mga mag-fund.
Yes.
They are now targeting the BSP reserves na hands off daw.
But it's not the reserves that are, hindi naman kukuha sa reserves. It's not from the reserves. The dollar reserves of the BSP won't be touched towards the Maharlika Investment Fund. If I'm not mistaken, it's the dividends that are paid out, which the BSP committed, I believe, for 2 years, if I'm not mistaken. So hindi naman hahawakin yung reserves. I understand that seed money has become a contentious issue, but the I guess notion that you need to be in a budget surplus in order to start a sovereign wealth fund is a little bit misplaced. If you look at the sovereign wealth fund of Indonesia, they actually started during a deficit. And within 1 year, I think times 20 ang naging times 20 ang naging assets under management nila. So it's possible, it just has to be done in the right way. Alam naman natin, we need to, there is much, it has become a contentious topic, but we need to let legislation do its job. And alam mo naman, ang bill na nakapasok or ang bill na ipinasok sa Kongreso galing sa economic managers kumpara sa bill na pinag-uusapan ngayon sa Senado ay napakaiba na. And that is the legislative mill at work. So let's have faith in our lawmakers to show that they are doing their job and ensuring that the bill that comes out of the Senate is the best possible version. And I have no doubt that that will be the case.
Thank you, thank you.
Kong, good afternoon po.
Good afternoon.
Jing No Boundaries po ko.
Hello po.
Kung bukod po sa binibigay ng national government sa mga senior citizens, PWD, solo parent
Yes
po.
po.
Kung meron po ba kayong programa para sa kanila, especially po dito sa Norte po, Ilocos Norte po?
Well, ang mga programa natin ay katulad sa mga iba't ibang Kong na of course para sa ating mga seniors, we have AIX, we have medical assistance. So sinigurado ko po na ang ating mga seniors kung mayroon silang kailangan bilhin na gamot, kung mayroon silang mga medical bills, sagot na po yan ng aking opisina. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, kapag posible, lahat buong bill na namin binabayaran. So in essence, we're trying to give free healthcare dito sa Ilocos. In essence lang yan, in essence. In essence. Well, sorry, congressman lang ako ng Ilocos.
Soon. Thank you po.
Hello. Good afternoon, Congressman.
Good afternoon.
Yabagis Vlog po. Na-witness po namin yung kaninang isinagawang groundbreaking ng Marcos Complex and then yung isa po ay grandstand.
Yes.
So, ito po bang proyekto na to, may aasahan pa po bang panibagong project yung mga taga First District, sir?
Yes, marami pa. Marami pa. Actually, kung nakikita mo dun sa bypass road, yung mahabang kalsada dyan, lahat, pumunta ba kayo sa Vintar? Yeah, nandun kayo.
Yes, sir.
So if you saw, may mga solar lighting dyan, bagong-bago yan. We just finished. So that's part, isa sa aking mga campaign promises nung ako yung miikot na ipailaw na ang lahat ng mga kalsada na madilim. So that's part of our push, no, to modernize the First District. And of course, kasama din dyan ang mga iba't ibang flood control, ang mga tulay sa mga lugar kung saan binabaha, saan ang binabahang mga barangay. And of course, I think the biggest one that we are currently undergoing is the viaduct in Pansian, Pagudpud. So meron kaming isang lugar sa Pansian, up in the north, mga 1.5 hours away, na kapag umuulan, nagla-landslide palagi. So yung kalsada dyan na nagiging unpassable. Ang dahilan dyan, dahil I guess, because of global warming and dahil sa daming nangyari, madalas nabablock siya. So ang gagawin namin ngayon, imbis na dumaan sa kalsada na aksidente lagi, nala-landslide lagi, gagawa kami ng viaduct, ng bridge that goes around the mountain para hindi na mahihirapan yung mga tao na nakatira dyan. That is a 400 million ba?
Oh?
Yeah, it's a total 2 billion peso operation. Pero kailangan talaga kasi for so many years, the northern part of the town has been blocked off the rest of the district dahil sa mga landslide na nangyayari. And actually, yung viaduct before, bago ka dumating sa kalsada dyan sa Pansian, may isa pang viaduct na sinimula tinapos ng aking lolo, si FEM. So ngayon, may isang viaduct na ngayon sa BBM administration. So it's good to see na itinutuloy ang mga proyekto at ang mga plano ng ng aking, I guess, lolo, and pinapaganda pa.
Thank you very much, sir.
Hello po, good afternoon po ako, Sandro.
Good afternoon.
Ang tanong ko po ay, at your young age po as a public servant, paano po ninyo na-manage ang oras po ninyo sa work, sa family, at sa personal po ninyo?
Sa work, sa?
At family po, at sa life po ninyo?
Walang balance eh. Wala. That's the short answer. It's been hard to do that, pero at least ang maganda ay my dad is always a phone call away. My mom is always a phone call away. In fairness sa kanila, kahit gaano ka-busy, they always find time for me and my brothers. Besides that, I don't know, lahat naman, I'm like any other 28-year-old na after work, I like seeing friends and doing all of that, pero mahirap talaga i-balance it. That's really being a public servant 24/7. So alam to ng staff ko, minsan tinetext ko sila madaling araw na. That's why I'm very, very thankful for them because they are really they help me kahit anong oras. So it's really a big deal for me. So yeah, that's it. It's hard to balance, but wala, ganun talagang buhay eh. I know what I signed up for, so no need to complain. I shouldn't complain. Just accept it and make sure I'm doing as best as I can for the district.
Good afternoon po ko. RJ Angeles po.
Kulang ka ata ng cellphone.
Kasi mga kasama ko rin po.
Okay.
Nakilagay.
Kala ko lahat.
Ayan po. So, anyway, question ko po ngayon kung bakit po ganun po kayo dedicated or passionate sa pagtulong dito po sa Ilocos Norte? Kasi na-witness din po namin, nakikita namin, tumutulong din po kayo sa earthquake sa Abra, ganun po. So, bakit ganun po kayo matulungin po dito po, kapitbayan po natin?
Dito ako, sa mga first of all, it's my job. Dito ako lumaki. Dito ko talaga nakita ko na talaga kung ano nangangailangan ng tao. It feels good. To tell you the truth. Sa totoo lang, maganda yung pakiramdam kapag tumutulong ka sa tao. So, I enjoy doing it. And then, tumutulong kami sa ating mga kapitbahay na nadidisgrasya, kung may lindol, kung may bagyo. Dahil naman, kapag alam ko naman kahit congressman ako ng 1st District, anak din ako ng Pangulo. So, I think it's important to show, especially taga-Region 2, ang ating mga kapitbahay, na kahit papano, basta't may tulong akong maibigay, ay kasama din sila dyan. Lalo na kapag may disgrasya. Alam mo naman lahat tayo Pilipino, di ba?
Yes, thank you so much po.
Magandang hapon po, Kong.
Hello.
Ako po si Romeo Talk TV. Ito po yung tanong ko. Sir, hanggang saan po suporta ninyo sa mga nakatapos na o nakinabang ng Educational Assistance Program at nakatapos sila ng pag-aaral? Hanggang saan po ang suporta ninyo? Habang wala pa silang trabaho, o wala po silang eligibility or pasado sa board ng PRC. Salamat po.
Ano?
At habang ano pong trabaho po ang mabibigay nyo sa kanila habang hindi pa po sila pasado ng eligibility ng PRC or board? Ganun po.
PRC?
Yes, po. Mga hindi pa po pasado ng board.
Which is what exactly?
Professional Regulation Commission.
Okay. Sorry, ang dami kasing people's republic. Anyway. Yeah. Well, we have a GIP program para sa mga hindi pa eligible and tumatanggap pa ng educational assistance. Ang GIP is a government internship program. So ang ginagawa natin ngayon ay noon sa nakaraang administrasyon ay tupad lang ibinibigay nila. Alam niyo naman yung tupad is 15 days of work and you get I think 5,000. 5,000 5,500 ang binibigay. Ang problema sa akin dyan, it's not the tupad. Malaki ang tulong, pero it's not transformational in the sense that you do not change the structure of the economy. Alam mo naman, as an economist, malaking bagay yan para sa akin. And I think it's very important na kahit paano nakahanap ka ng solusyon para baguhin ang structure ng ekonomiya. And I think the GIP program does that because it not only equips the youth with the necessary skills in order to build their future, but it also provides the government offices with people na kailangan talaga nila. Alam mo naman, karamihan sa mga opisina ng gobyerno ay understaffed. So it's really a big opportunity and malaking pagkakataon na itong mga estudyante na nangangailangan ng trabaho ay binibigay natin. And actually, it's reassuring to see na yung mga GIP namin, kasi usually it's 6 months and then you can renew for 6 more months and then that's it. It's a 1-year program in this na 15 days. Ang medyo magandang tignan or magandang nakita ay karamihan sa mga, or some of our GIP, what do you call them, interns, some of our GIP interns ay ina-absorb na ng mga government offices. So, ginalingan nila, binigyan ng permanent job, which shows that the program works. So, I guess that's a good answer to your question.
Alright, yan. Magandang hapon po, Kong Sandro. Si JC De La Cruz po ito.
Hello, sir.
Maliban po sa agricultural project sa pagpapaliwanag ng mga kalye, bilang dati pong youth leader, ano po yung plano niyo sa mga kabataan ng Ilocos?
Well, I just enumerated some of the programs. The GIP, meron tayong educational assistance. Alam mo naman, ako ay isa sa mga pinakabata na congressman. Surprisingly, I'm not the youngest. Marami pa. I think there's about 2 or 3 congressmen, 25 lang sila. But like I said, the GIP is a big program, the educational assistance. And then of course, sa mga iba't ibang SKI na humihingi ng tulong sa atin ay nagbibigay naman kami ng suporta.
Thank you po.
Good afternoon, Congressman Sandro. My question is, the President's priority has been the overhaul of the Department of Agriculture. How does the majority bloc in Congress plan to deliver this massive undertaking? The Department of Agriculture is beleaguered with so many big issues, like big ticket issues that need to be resolved. And all of these things are now being discussed through inquiries.
Yes.
And actually, not just now, but previous Congresses have been discussing this all the way back till 2013. How can you, as a congressman, part of the majority bloc in the legislation now, help our president achieve all of these massive changes that he needs to do to strengthen our Department of Agriculture and hopefully turn back time to that point where we were one of the strongest agricultural countries in the region?
Well, I think as a lawmaker, the capacity at which I can assist the department is twofold. Number one, Congress holds the oversight functions of, as an institution, they have what is called, your oversight function. So yan ang nakikita nyo, mga inquiry tungkol sa smuggling, tungkol sa hoarding. I guess the hot topic now is yung sibuyas. I don't know if you saw, pero last week, yung PNP may nahanap, I think, 95 million worth of sibuyas na award sa warehouse. And according to our increase, that's just the tip of the iceberg. So through that oversight function that we have activated, we are able to see, and I believe part of that PNP bust was due to the inquiry that Congress had made. So I guess clean up the ranks is really the word, that is really the thing that we can do. Within, not just within the department, but you know, there's still the scrupulous traders, there's still the hoarders, there's still the smugglers, and unti-unti may mga pangalan na lumalabas. I'm not at liberty to say, and I don't want to, you know, put anyone on the spot. But through those inquiries, we are starting to see a pattern. We're starting to see certain names come up more and more. So I think with that, we will be able to assist the president. We know naman that with this administration, agriculture has become of tantamount importance and food security as well. We know that over the last few decades na hindi talaga inaasikaso yung agrikultura. That's why we had become a net importer of agricultural goods. So that is really the long-term vision. The second part, if you see in Congress, is the budget hearings, the budget deliberations, which, in my opinion, is the most important piece of legislation that Congress passes every year. With regards to the Department of Agriculture, there will be an oversight committee, put up by Congress that will track the spending of each department and to ensure na ang pondo na ilinagay sa mga iba't ibang departamento ay ginagamit ng husto at ginagastos nila. Because the rule naman, the standing rule, and this is also in the private sector, kung hindi nyo ginagamit yung budget na binigay sa'yo, kinukuha. Dahil sinasabi namin, binigay ko sa'yo 10 pesos, 5 pesos lang ginastos mo, hindi mo kailangan yung tirang 5, ibigay na lang namin sa ibang tao na mas nangangailangan. Yeah, so I guess that's the other way to do it, to track the spending, to track the disbursement of funds, to make sure that the projects are well appropriated.
Sir, very quick follow-up.
Yes.
Does that mean, do you believe that we already have enough existing agriculturally inclined laws?
Well, no, and that's also the job of Congress. I am actually a principal author of a bill that includes it's a revision of the Anti-Smuggling Act. And lalo na, it was done for actually the North, because alam mo naman, Ilocos is one of the biggest tobacco producing provinces in the country. And unfortunately, tobacco smuggling is not equal to economic sabotage. So my bill hopes to make, and actually I believe it was amended na hindi lang tobacco kundi lahat ng agricultural goods, to increase the penalty for those smuggling.
To lower the minimum for it to qualify as a big offense.
Well, that too, but I think the offense of economic sabotage is a jailable offense compared to if it weren't. So I think hopefully that will make people think twice.
Thank you, sir.
Sa alam ko na sa Senado na yan.
Thank you so much.
Kong, good afternoon po.
Good afternoon,
Old
sir.
School Pinoy. So, follow up, hindi kasi yung tanong ko. So, dito na lang tayo sa Ilocos po. Ano yung mga bill or yung mga tinutulong niya pa po dito sa ating mga magsasaka dito sa Ilocos Norte? Especially dito sa district.
Well, as you saw, may binigay kami yung RFFA, the rice allowance, the fertilizer... Excuse me, may tubig ba dyan? The fertilizer vouchers that we give. Meron pa kaming ang ginagawa namin na binibigay natin ng equipment na sagot ng opisina. So karamihan ng mga magsasaka ay pumupunta rito, nangangailangan ng mga iba't ibang bagay para sa kanilang mga crops. Sagot na namin yan. In terms of bills, when it comes to the agricultural industry, you cannot, aside from the 7171, I don't know if you know what that is. It's from RA 7171 na lahat ng mga tobacco producing provinces binibigay ng pondo. But aside from that, if you file a bill in terms of agriculture, it cannot be local, it's national in scope. Kasi wala namang batas in my knowledge na nagsasabi, sige, may mga magsasaka sa Ilocos, may ibang batas kumpara sa mga magsasaka sa Visayas or Mindanao. So there's no such thing as an act unless it's the 7171, but that's a Republic Act. So to answer your question, kapag nag-file po kami ng bill tungkol sa agrikultura, para sa buong bansa po yan.
Follow up na lang, sir. Kasi di ba po si President BBM yung secretary natin?
Yes.
Then, ano po yung masasabi nyo regarding naman doon sa mga gustong palitan siya bilang secretary?
Well, that's their opinion. They're entitled to it. But like the President said, and tama naman yung sinasabi niya, may mga tao na kapag may hiningi ang secretary, they are so powerful that they can say no to the secretary. Bale, or dinedelay, or kung ano-ano, hindi sila takot sa secretary. May mga tao na kapag ang Pangulo ang nag-uutos, they have to say yes. So I think in saying that, there really are some things that only a president can do. At ang problema ng agrikultura ay napakalaki. Dahil sa tagal na hindi inaasikaso. So he saw it that big of a problem that he decided to take up the portfolio himself.
Thank you po.
Thank you so much, Sandro.
Thanks, guys.
Can I ask one last
Yes, please go ahead.
Because I talked with Sir Edwin Carino.
Okay.
And
he's the best.
Yes, I agree. And nakikita ko na sobrang ibang-iba talaga yung situation dito sa Ilocos Norte at sa ibang areas, sa ibang provinces. And sa tingin mo ko, enough na yung mga laws natin to make it happen to other provinces, or is there a bill that you can do hopefully for them to mimic what is happening here? Kasi if it's already a law, they need to implement it.
How do I answer this in a politically correct way? Baka madaming magagalit sa akin. How do I put this? Ganito na lang. Laws can only do so much. Sometimes, when you look at the performance of a province, it falls under the executive. So, if nakita mo na maganda talagang sitwasyon dito, then I think we have to give credit to our beloved governor, si Matthew Manotoc, who in my opinion has done a fantastic job. So like I said, laws can only take you so far. But if the executive is doing a good job, makikita mo talaga na mag-uunlad ang probinsya.
Say.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Mag-empanada kayo, I promise it's good.
Wow!
Let's get them. Right, empanada and Mickey and lahat ng mga Ilocano na magkain.
Lahat tayo.
Hey, Mickey!
Commerce tayo.